moving though, right?
What?
It's a moving GIF. It's not moving though.
It's not moving, is it?
Oh, sorry. Now it looks a little lame. It's a little moving, like the thing is moving and the dog's running inside. That's how I feel today.
Nice. Hamster wheels all the time. I'm so glad they're doing construction. Hold on. Is that really obnoxiously loud? Can you hear that? No. Okay. It's just going to annoy me though. Okay, great. So, hi, welcome. And I'm going to share my screen. And we have, you know what? I'm actually going to, why don't I do this? I'm going to give you access to the slides if you want to follow along, but I'm going to ask you to please like pay attention, right? So we're here together for like 55 more minutes. So we wanted to hear how it's going. Did you try anything new since last week? If anyone wants to share. And then, sorry, with these two screens, I struggle with this. Yeah. So join me on the slides and we can talk about what we're doing today. This is a very large, wide screen. Is it distorted when I share? Tammy, is it like,
A little bit longer, but I think it's fine.
it's fine?
Yeah.
Okay, because you all can follow along. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So essentially it's day 2. Nope, that is definitely the wrong date. Sorry, it's November 6th. I'm gonna make sure this is the right one. Yeah, our community agreements. Look at our smiles from last time. Yay. And just a reminder, like you're all bringing your own experience as Mandarin teachers. And Shin, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Do you want to introduce yourself real quickly? You were away last time.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Xin Gao. I work with Jill in the Office of Multilingual Learner. My main responsibility is community empowerment, is creating resources for educators and parents and families.
Nice, thank you. And we're working on different things and uh, Chinese family facing things. She always helps with that. And yeah, so thank you for being here. And the idea is we're all learners together, right? And I am not proficient in Mandarin, but I want to bring you as many resources as possible to help you in your journey. And sharing is caring. And I want to thank the teachers who have prepared some student work to go through. We'll have 3 rooms and that's going to be the second half. Expect and accept non-closure, right? We won't get to answer everything by the end of today's session, but we're here together. And it's a safe space, a confidential community. So I do record these for there were like 2 people who could not make it today, but these are not shared with your administrators. This is a space where you can just ask all your questions. So these are our key priorities in New York City in our Office of Multilingual Learners. Again, you do work every day to make your families and your students feel welcome. And you are important pathways. You set the pathway to multilingualism for your students, whether they speak Chinese at home or they're learning it in school. We would love all students to graduate multilingual. And so continuing to the essential question for our series is just learning from collective experiences. And we talked last time about challenges and opportunities. And this is what we will be doing together over the year. So these are just review slides. And so what's one thing you did differently from last week? So we're just reconnecting, going over our objectives. Then we'll do a short chunk on revised standards and resources. Standards implementation is underway for everyone through grade 9, so all middle schools and 9th grade. Then we'll go into small group discussions to actually learn from some student work. I think this is a really valuable protocol I've used in different spaces with different groups of teachers, and you hear from each other, right? So that'll be in small groups. and then just quickly closing and looking ahead, and we'll finish right at 4:30. So I'm going to, I don't know if you're able to open two different slide decks, but if you remember last time, we have the slides that I'm presenting from, and then we have this slide deck called the teacher deck, which I'll put in the chat if you can open this as well, and that's where you can type. So I would love for you to open that teacher deck, and on slides, there are little boxes for each of you to share. And this is, we'll use slides 1 through 7 today. Slide 3 and 4, some of your names are already there. If your name's not there, please add it in the box in slide 4. And anything you did differently since last session, like anything you tried new. So I messed that up, didn't I? Okay, there you are. So take like 2 minutes to type anything you'd like to share in slides 3 and 4. Let me know of any access issues in these documents. I'll stop sharing so you can type. Maybe another minute. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. Take a second to review what your colleagues wrote. Does anyone want to unmute and unmute, open mic, share something that they wrote or that they want to ask questions about? And I get it, if you're tired and just trying to survive, I personally am doing the same. This is a very busy time and it feels like a very crazy year, right? But happy November. And today is a gorgeous fall day. So thanks for spending it with me.
Hi, I wanted to find out about Gavin's Fun Friday. That sounds like a fun thing.
Gavin, tell us.
Yeah, so I forget where I got this idea. Um, I think a friend said it to me because it's like a planned word, like instead of fun Fridays, like fun Fridays. And like my student, I didn't think that such a simple thing could spark so much excitement. And I actually overcooked the rice. Like I added way too much water, and my students corrected me and showed me the right way to do it. So next time I'm gonna let them cook it. But yeah, they're like, "Oh, Mr. Emmer, like, can you bring in soy sauce?" And I was like, "Wait, I thought like usually like you don't put soy sauce on rice, you know." But a lot of my students like they speak like Taishanese at home, so they are familiar with Chinese culture, and they are exposed to it in their family environment. Um, so yeah, I think that'll be really fun. And yeah, it's like sort of random, but my Mandarin 1 class that I teach is just an elective. So yeah, I mean, like we have fun, but we also do some learning. And then also I'm creating a Spotify playlist, and my students like they really asked me to do this, and I shared the link with them, so they're gonna like drop any songs in the Spotify playlist, and I'm just gonna play it aloud in class. So it's all like juniors and seniors. And it's just like 10 students, so it's a really like chill, close-knit environment.
Amazing, thank you.
Yeah.
So are you making different rice dishes every other Friday?
I'm like literally just making rice. Like I just went to Whole Foods and got sushi rice, and then I brought that like, little like seaweed sort of topping thing that you can put on it.
Furikake, yeah.
Furikake, yeah, I bought that, and I think it's just going to be white rice, and that's it. And then some students said that, oh, like she can bring in some vegetables, so, and then she'll like cook it in advance. So maybe if you do a little potluck thing, yeah.
Okay, I'll look for my invite. That sounds fun. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Nice, thank you. Any other things we want to talk about or ask questions about?
I have a question to Gavin that how many students you have?
So I have like 10 students total.
Hmm,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
small.
I have 10
Because
students.
I have 165 students. So you seen cooking rice. So I was thinking in my situation what I can do.
Yeah,
Thank you.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, good point. Um, and I think over this year too, we'll kind of get ideas of this as well as I know Yan Yan last year with her heritage class, there are some Chinese related field trips in the city, you know. I don't know if you've done that. So like thinking about these different cultural experiences that you can bring into your classroom, but also outside that are specifically for students of Chinese. Awesome. Karen, can you tell us a little more about the mnemonic techniques? Did they create their own?
Sure. Yeah. I'm like really into sort of the metacognitive stuff behind learning, like making clear what the thought processes are. So when I'm teaching like difficult pinyin sounds that are really non-intuitive, obviously, like things like I don't know, an example would be like the UI sound, right? Like dui, hui, sui. It just doesn't look like it should sound like that, right? So I often will model to my students, well, a way that you can remember how to pronounce this is you can think of way in English, W-A-Y, and then just add the first initial, and I have them like mark it in their notes. And so I'll model a lot of that out loud, that type of thinking for them. And then when they're making their own notes sometimes or practicing with friends, I have them, here's the pinyin or here's the word. What's your tip for remembering how to say it? And encourage students to come up with their own. Some of my students speak Spanish better than English. So I noticed that some of them like to kind of like write different sounds than me. And it seems to help them. So.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
I just
One-
want to add to that because I
Yeah.
speak Spanish, and I do remember when I was learning English 100 years ago, I used to kind of think of like the sound of the words and what I could relate it to so that I could remember how to pronounce it. That's what you're talking about, right, Karen? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that. Anyone else? Based on what others are doing. Chen's trying to use I can statement. Oh, like in simplified Chinese, right? So they get used to seeing it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Sharon's looking for authentic resources. I'm going to show you some Mandarin simplified Chinese authentic resources today. Great. So keep this slide deck open, please. And we're going to go back to the main slides. So that's great. So we'll go to this, the 3 objectives for today. And I have a few little children here. Okay, bye. Thank your parent. Okay, bye. Sorry, it was parent-teacher conferences. So access key resources to support standards implementation in your Mandarin classroom. Follow a protocol to learn from student work. So I want to really get to that by 4 o'clock. And engage with peers to consider a next step for your own students. So I'm going to go very fast. Who feels like they have gotten a lot of information about the revised standards? Okay, Karen has, good. You're in New Visions district, so you have Narsal who's like, okay. How many standards do we have for world languages?
5.
5, right? Yep. 3 communicative and 2 cultural
Culture.
ones. So, yeah. So we're going to talk about some key concepts, and just so you know, right, the implementation, again, middle school since 2023. I'm going to move this. And the checkpoint A assessment was first aligned to the revised standards this past June. And then in June of 2027, like Jiazi is going to have to leave because she's involved in the development of the checkpoint B assessment. They just announced on election day that the checkpoint B assessment in June of 2027 will be paper. So I know that was a question. And so I think it's important to really look at these key shifts. Sorry, I'm trying to move this. And you can still see the screen, right? You see the key shift screen? Yes. Okay, great. Sometimes I share the wrong screen. So we don't say foreign language anymore. We don't say lote. And you are a category 3-4 language, right? So that means you have different proficiency targets. And a checkpoint A course is in middle school usually. And so students are getting to novice high, where they're using single sentences by the time they are in 8th grade. The hope is that students are taking the checkpoint A exam by the end of 8th grade. And some of you may be in bilingual programs in which they could be taking the checkpoint B exam in 8th grade. And we can talk more about that. I had a long meeting with academic policy today around that. Updated topics, right? 17 topics you need to be teaching, but it's in 4 big buckets that mirror the AP. How many of you teach AP Chinese? Any of you? Some of you. Okay, great. So the idea is that these AP topics can be happening starting in checkpoint A courses. And then number 4, benchmark performance indicators with targets. And I want to give you probably see the comment on this slide. So I would love to give you a few minutes to review the proficiency targets for Mandarin. And I think some of you teach checkpoint A middle school courses, some of you teach checkpoint B, and AP Chinese is checkpoint C. So I'd love for you to go back to the teacher collaborative slides. And on slide 5, there's the link to the 1-pager that shows your proficiency targets and what should students be able to do in each of the checkpoints. These are category 3-4, so in Mandarin, right? So your students are coming in at novice low, and by the end of 8th grade, they should be able to identify the topic and some isolated facts, things like that. So I'd ask you to let's take 2 minutes till 3:55 to look at this document. And if you wanted to share anything you noticed or any questions you have, you can add them here on slide 5. Okay? Okay. Does anyone want to share something that came up for them before? Do you want to see something? Well, maybe. Tammy, I'm not going to pull it up, but the way everyone names their courses is very fascinating to me. Because I see right here, Gavin, you're asking about Mandarin 1 Roman numerals, right? Your school uses Roman numerals. It is wild to me that some schools like use a 1 or a 1A or a Roman numeral 1 or 1, 2. I don't know. It's very interesting. So to your question, Gavin, this is high school, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to this slide, each checkpoint is meant to be a 2-year sequence. So they're learning Mandarin for the first time in 9th grade with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so checkpoint A in high school is often a 1-year course. And then, so that would be 9th grade.
Okay.
And then Mandarin 2 and Mandarin 3 would be not 10th and 11th grade. And they would take that checkpoint B exam at the end of 11th grade, right? Using that construct. And then if they were to continue to checkpoint C, like AP, that would be 12th grade.
Okay.
Yeah. If they're in a bilingual program, they might go through those checkpoints faster. Yeah. Other questions? So do you have a Mandarin 4 that's before AP?
So the way at our school, actually, we just have Mandarin 1 because it's the first year that we're introducing it, and it's only for juniors and seniors. Yeah. So, but even for our Spanish, like last year we didn't have AP Spanish, then this year we do. I think it depends on like the teachers who are available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, the hope is that all students have a chance to get the seal of biliteracy and AP course by the time they graduate. Yeah. And in Spanish, for example, middle schools need to offer world languages. So if you're teaching Mandarin in high school, your students may have taken Spanish in middle school, right? So they're starting from scratch in checkpoint A in your course. So, but even with the sequence where they're doing 1 year of checkpoint A, then 2 years of checkpoint B, that gives them the opportunity to reach checkpoint C in by the time they graduate. What gets tricky is when schools, sorry, these got a little off, but sometimes it doesn't fit in their program, you know, so students have the proficiency. I'll say right here, right? If you have a group of students, and we're not talking so much about the seal of biliteracy right now, I'm working on a 1-pager in Mandarin in simplified Chinese on the seal and that. But if you have students who want to pursue the seal of biliteracy and you don't offer AP Chinese, there's still pathways for them to do that project. And the seal of biliteracy is available to any student in any language. But again, if you only offer maybe levels 1 or 1, 2, 3, but you have students that you know could get the seal, I can help you figure out how to do that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other questions about this document?
Yeah, I also have a question about the sequence.
Yeah.
I'm teaching high school and I teach Mandarin 1, 2, 3, and AP 4 different levels. So usually the students learn the first 3 years, 1, 2, 3. After the 3 years learning, they will take the checkpoint B test. And then the first year, they can choose either take AP or not. But based on the new standard, the sequence, I'm a little bit confused. Since the 11th grade, there is already checkpoint C. So I'm a little bit confused about this.
Yeah, so what I just mentioned to Gavin is essentially that if they're taking 9th grade would be 1 year and that would be checkpoint A. checkpoint A is like 2 years in middle school, but in high school, it ends up being 1 year. You can cover all the content because like developmentally, it should work for ninth graders. And then you have 2 years of checkpoint B. To cover all the content of checkpoint B, that could be 10th grade, that's level 2, and then 11th grade is level 3. And then June of their 11th grade year, they would take checkpoint B. And then if in 10th and 12th grade, they could continue to AP, which is checkpoint C.
Yeah, since yeah, I saw this 2027 to 2028, 11th grade is already checkpoint C.
Oh, sorry, that means that, oh, you're looking at the timeline at the beginning?
Yeah, the timeline, number 9 slide.
Yeah, so that's for the standards implementation. So, oh yeah, sorry. That means that, yeah, because some schools offer checkpoint C courses starting in 11th grade, but that's just meaning that, yeah, I think that the checkpoints there are a little confusing, I guess, but that is showing the checkpoints 2 years, each checkpoint being 2 years. But really an AP course is a checkpoint C course and AP courses are only 1 year.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that means after 3 years, the kids still taking the checkpoint B test? If they don't
Yeah,
take
I
AP.
mean, yeah.
Okay,
We
thank you.
can talk more. I just, I would say like offline, but I wanted you to be familiar with this document. And I will tell you, one thing that's really important about this document, I bring this to school leaders because at some point we'll talk about Danielson and the type of feedback you're getting. But a lot of times your administrators might not know what they're looking for in your classroom. And I want you to be able to pull on this, right? So that they don't, administrators for like Danielson 3B questioning and discussion, for example. This should help administrators understand that in a level 1 Mandarin class, which is aligned to checkpoint A, that they cannot expect to see a Socratic seminar or something like that. So this is a way to educate you and for you to advocate for yourself and say like, this activity today, this can-do statement, it is rigorous and conceptually complex because students are engaging in this, right? And this is appropriate to their checkpoint. So yeah, so be familiar with this document. And we'll talk more about like administrator pieces. And I'm hoping that by the end of this year, we create something, a one-pager to help school leaders what to look for in Mandarin classrooms or like what to understand about category 3-4 languages, because I wonder if you're getting feedback that's helpful to you. If I'm sure your school leaders, if they're not proficient in Mandarin, aren't as comfortable going into your classroom. So just thinking about bridging that gap between the work you do and the feedback your administrators give you around pedagogy. So that's a key resource. Okay. So you have access to these slides. I want to carve out that 20 minutes for your peers to share their work. So we're going to skip to that. I just want to show you slide 11. You've probably seen this many times before. You're always focusing on the blue functions of the standards. So every single day, and I ask you to keep this in mind as we go into our breakout rooms to learn from each other. Think about your can-do statement should always focus on one of the blue functions. And I love the idea your can-do statement should be written in simplified Chinese. Do you all teach with simplified characters? Yeah, I think all of you do. I know there are some schools that are all traditional characters, but that's rare. You should have your can-do statements in the characters. Then you can have them in pinyin under it. And then for checkpoint A and students who need it, of course, you can have the can-do statement in English. When I taught Japanese, I used to have it in the hiragana, katakana, kanji, and then I would have it in romaji, and then I would have it in gray, smaller in English, because you want your students to understand the can-do statements, but they should get used to seeing the characters and the pinyin associated with it. And then as a scaffold, you're going to remove the English when they're ready. We're going to skip this one, but the big key concept, because these are Spanish related examples, sorry about that, and they're cut off. Your can-do statements, again, focus on those blue functions. And this is the list linked in for you of the themes and topics you should be teaching at each level, right? So again, 17 different topics you're covering in checkpoint A, I believe. And this next slide is about authentic resources, right? So authentic resources, every time you give students an authentic resource, right, you're helping them understand, interpret and analyze, then they're using that in their conversations. And then after they have interpersonal communication, express feelings, preferences, then they're going to present to each other, describe, inform. This could be in writing or speaking. And so this next slide has some Mandarin specific resources for you. So this is just an overview of what are authentic resources. I'm sure you know, menus, commercials, songs, anything, right? Texts, infographics. And then here in the middle, this is in English, but this is a really great resource. You find a great song in Mandarin, or you find a great menu from the local restaurant. Well, what are you going to have students do with it? So think about, like, if you have a train schedule, for example, you could have them. So the right side is what kind of tasks can you have them do? And so there's a lot of talk about graphic organizers, things like that. So on this slide, I think, what slide is this, 14 maybe? On the right side, I have links to Mandarin specific resources. So are you all familiar with Leslie Gran? She has virtual word walls in lots of different languages. So this is something you could post in Google Classroom. You could think about which of these anchor charts you might want to print for your classroom. If I come to visit you, the first thing I do is look around the classroom, right? And so what do you have up as a scaffold? And Ms. Wong, Yen Yen, if we get to go to her room sometime, she has excellent anchor charts all over the room, and they're big enough. The font's big enough that students can see from different places. So hopefully you have some cool anchor charts that's available to you. And then I've been using this Chinese tones trainer. There's a Wakelet from New York State, listening activities, and then graphic organizers in Chinese. And then Leslie Gran also has tons of authentic text in Chinese for like daily, start the day with a positive quote and things like that. So I'm going to ask you to put in the chat if there are any other authentic resource libraries, or you know what, actually, I'll put on a slide and maybe you can just add your ideas there so we can continue to learn from each other, okay? I'll go real quickly because Dorcas and Nan have prepared things for us to go through today. And so this last thing, and Yen Yen, this is you, right? You made the intercultural chat mat in Simplified Chinese. So intercultural communication chat mats to help standards to help students meet standards 4 and 5, you need to give them a toolbox of words to talk about what I see in my culture, what are the different perspectives, things like that. So here's the English one. And then you can chunk it, especially for middle school. Give them like 5 phrases at a time and then print it. Also, this does not have pinyin. Maybe we could add pinyin in actually. But English on one side, Chinese on the other side, and then they can start to have conversations about standards 4 and 5. Have you seen these before? Maybe not. Okay. So any questions right now? Okay, let's do this. It's 4:09. This is going to be super abbreviated, but I wanted to give you the chance to go into breakout rooms and to really think about what is everyone doing in their classes and what can I learn from colleagues here, right? Because this is, again, focused on Mandarin specifically. So I set this up. I've done this before. Let's learn from student work. We're not just going to look at it, but like, let's try to learn from what other students are doing and how can that help you? So the protocol, we're going to have to change it a little bit. We're not going to, okay, we're going to adjust it where it's 2 minutes to get started. You're just going to talk about it. 3 minutes to describe what did you have the students do. Your peers are going to take 3 minutes to look at the samples and to think of some ideas. And then 3 minutes for this. And 4 minutes for this. Well, 3, 3, 3. So this comes up to what? 14 minutes. I think that's good. And we might not get to debrief the process, and that's fine. The focus should be on the student work. And so I'd love for you to go back to our slides. I'll put it in the chat. And slide 7 here. So we're going to do 3 minutes. And we have Hong, we have Dorcas, and we have Nan. Did anyone else send me student work? Maybe I missed it. Okay, so the rooms will be like maybe 1 presenter and like 4 others. So like 5 people total. Is that okay? And Dorcas has middle school. So I can put those of you in middle school. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen. You're all on slide 7 on the teacher slide. And I'm going to do self-selected breakout rooms, okay? So if you're a middle school teacher, you're going to go to the middle school room. 3 breakout rooms, and let participants choose room, okay? And so room 1, middle school with Dorcas. And just thank you for sharing. So if you click on this blue at the top, this will explain the protocol you're going to follow. And again, it's 2 minutes to explain and then 3, 3, 3, okay? So take a minute to read it. And Dorcas, Hong, and Ning, Nan, you're just gonna kind of like explain and then give them some time to look at it, okay? So I'm gonna open all rooms. We're aiming for like 5 people in each room. So click on the blue join button and see you all close breakout rooms around 4:25, okay? Thank you. Karen, I'm glad you like it.
Jill, is there a room that you would like me to join?
It is up to you. We're trying to kind of make sure. Hong doesn't have anyone. Okay, Gavin's going in her room. We want to make sure like they're all kind of equalish, right? Do we have a lot of middle school teachers? Wow.
So can I join a high school one because my students, although they are middle school, but their things are more like a high school level?
Of course, of course.
Yeah, can I also join high school one, please?
Yeah, okay. I will put you in. Okay, Hong, are you gonna go over to your room?
Go.
Okay.
I didn't get any.
You
Oh, okay.
self-selected.
I'm gonna send you. Okay, bye.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, I can join the middle, the
Yeah, non-dang.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll join
Okay,
that one.
sounds good. Okay, and can you kind of help push the protocol along?
Sure.
Thanks. It's a little messy, so I'm gonna do 2 minutes. Yeah, 2. Yeah, probably around 4:20, I'll say start to give feedback. Like
4:20. Okay.
yeah.
4:20. Let me do my math.
Oh my God, hold on. Wait, this doesn't have. Oh, it had. Oh my God, wait. Oh, I'm gonna put it in the chat. Hold on. Critical friends groups. It's just us right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How are you? Oh my God, I have so many tabs open. Oh my God. I didn't put the slide that has like, I wonder if, hold on. EFGs. There it is. No, it's a little different. I'm gonna share my screen just for you. Hold on.